ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहित कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितान् च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय
जय।
Those who want to read, they can raise their hand, because we shouldn't waste our 1 or 2 minutes by asking devotees like who want to read. We can simply take the names. So yesterday we learned we were reading the preface, but Prabhupada is so merciful that even in a preface, how important points we got. First, we got what is the surrendering process? There are six steps. First is accept things which are favorable for discharging devotional service. It means you have to maintain your suchi, you early wake up early, and do all the prescribed spiritual duties. They are not just a spirituality, they are our prescribed duties in the spirituality. We have to follow them. Second, reject the things which are unfavorable. We have to reject some things if you want to get up early morning, so you have to sleep early. So you cannot go on WhatsApp or YouTube and start watching many things and forget about sleeping. So we should reject these things, and things which can be postponed for tomorrow. So after 8 or 9 we have to sleep, so that then only we can get up at 4 a.m. or 7 that time. Then third is believe firmly in a Lord's protection. Okay, whatever is happening under the Krishna's control, and Krishna is owner of everything, and Krishna is a good wisher of me. So whatever is happening, we should pray for Krishna, please give me protection, and that is avashya raksha Krishna. Four is exclusively feel exclusively dependent on the mercy of Lord. Okay, you have to put your efforts, but for the results you have to depend on Krishna, because the results are not in our hand. And then then fifth is that have a no separate interest than the interest of Lord. What is the interest of Lord? To reclaim the jivas and take them back to the Godhead. So we also help in a Krishna's mission. We should practice spirituality sincerely, and we also help our siblings, our brothers and sisters, all the jivas, to go back to the Godhead. We have to show the highest form of a compassion, which is giving holy name, giving Krishna to anyone. And six, so that preaching is so important, na? Because when we preach, we become very dear to Krishna. And six is always feel oneself meek and humble. Okay, you are rendering sevas, you are doing wonders, but it's due to the Krishna's mercy, and what belongs to you. So you should be humble, and you should be meek. You shouldn't develop the pride. And then also we learn that yes, there are three realizations. First is impersonal Brahman realization. Second, The second is a localized Paramatma realization, and third, which is a superior, that is a Bhagwan realization, person form of a Bhagwan, Krishna, which is the greatest and the superior. And we also, yesterday we learned that there is no difference between a Guna, Rupa, Nam, Leela. That is difference between Krishna and his name, his qualities, his pastimes, his form, and his paraphernalia. Anything get attached with Krishna become Krishnatized. Like so that's the reason, like when pure devotee is so like very closer to Krishna, then like you can see the effulgence and that glow from their face, and like that kind of and the good vibrations come from that because they associate with the Krishna. When we associate with the Krishna, we start getting the qualities like Krishna has. We will get again them in a limited form because like Krishna is unlimited, and like we are the limited. So Hare Krishna, Muthumanikam Prabhu, you can start.
Hare Krishna.
Lord Chaitanya also recommended Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Lord Chaitanya also recommended that the highest mode of worship in the highest perfectional stage is the method practical by the damsels of Raja. These damsels, that is gopis or cowherd girls, simply loved Krishna, simply loved Krishna without a motive for material or spiritual gain. Chaitanya also recommended Srimad Bhagavatam as the spotless narration of transcendental knowledge. And he pointed out that the highest goal of human life is to develop unalloyed love for Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya's teachings, Lord Chaitanya's teachings are identical to those given by Lord Kabila, the original propounder of Sankhya Yoga, the Sankhya system of philosophy. This authorized system of yoga recommends meditation on the transcendental form of the Lord. There is no question of meditating on something void of or impersonal. One can meditate on the transcendental form of Lord Vishnu even without practicing involved sitting posture. Such meditation is called perfect samadhi. This perfect samadhi is verified at the end of the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says, "And all of yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all." Bhagavad Gita 6.47. Lord Chaitanya instructed the mass of people in the Sankhya philosophy of Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, which maintains that the Supreme Lord is simultaneously one with the and different from his creation. Lord Chaitanya taught his philosophy through the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. He taught that the holy name of the Lord is the sound incarnation of the Lord, and that since the Lord is the absolute whole, there is no difference between the holy name and his transcendental form. Thus, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can directly associate with the Supreme Lord by sound vibration. As one practices this sound vibration, he passes through three stages of development: the offensive stage, the clearing stage, and the transcendental stage. In the offensive stage, one may desire all kinds of material happiness, but in the second stage, one becomes clear of all material contamination. When one is situated on the transcendental stage, he attains the most coveted position, the stage of loving God. Lord Chaitanya taught that this is the highest stage of perfection of human beings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, like yes, we have like to advance into spirituality. Like we have to practice from someone who are already advanced in spirituality, who already gone through the process. So like who are the highest, like who love Krishna in the highest perfection. They are the gopis themselves, or cowherd girls of a Vrindavana. They simply love Krishna without a motive for a material and spiritual gain. So like in Rajoguna, Rajoguna, people simply love God so that like their material desires can be simply fulfilled. And this is not love, na. This is the business. Okay, you give me something, I will give you something in return. Okay, you give crack this business deal, so I will donate you some thousands of rupees to you. So this is the business. This is not a love. And in a Satoguna, like, okay, I am loving God, so I can get some spiritual knowledge, or I can advance spiritually, or I can get the name, fame, and all these things. So, but how the gopis love Krishna? What Krishna is giving to gopis? Like they simply love Krishna without any material and spiritual gain. We have some material desires, and to fulfill that material desires, we come into this Krishna consciousness or in spirituality. Even if you don't want a wealth, you are not seeking for the wealth, but you are seeking for the mental, like a mental peace and calmness, and uh, like that kind of thing. So like it is also material desire, na? So that's why we are coming here. But love should be free from all this material and other contamination. And like, yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said that the Srimad Bhagavatam is a pointless narration of a transcendental knowledge. Because, like, when the Vyasdeva, like, write all the Vedas, like and all the scriptures, then like he was still unsatisfied. Like he written all the Vedas, still he was unsatisfied. He was not feeling that fulfillment, satisfaction. So he was morose. So like Narad Muni come and like he told the Vyasdev, like, okay, you written all the all the shastras, all the Vedas, but you are only entangling peoples in the fruitive activities. You haven't give them the highest perfection of human form, like that. You haven't told them how we have to worship Krishna, and like you haven't tell in the scriptures, or you haven't glorified the Lord in the scriptures, and look, you haven't glorified the devotees of a Lord in the scriptures. So like that's the reason of your unsatisfaction. It's like you have a lot of knowledge and you know the essence, okay? Like you are reading one book, and you read the book, and like so you know now which are the pointers, it's like someone comes to you in exam, there is university exam, and like your friends come to you and you already studied so well, and like you gone through the previous year questions, and you gone through the books like 5-10 times, so you grasp the book, you know the from which points your question will become, or which point from which points exam paper will be formed, so you know in detail. So like, but instead of telling the summary to your friends, okay, you don't have to go through the entire book. These are these topics, and this page number, if you read only this 10-15 pages, like you can clear the examination. But instead of that, we will, if we mislead the our friends, like, okay, by telling that some other 15 pages, if you read this book, if you read this 15 pages, then you can answer. But you are not giving the right information. The right information is that you have to give like that 15 pages from which like exam paper will be formed, because you already gone through that. You are giving them a summary, you are giving them the pointers. So Vasudev give entire Vedas, but he haven't tell us, he this is the perfection stage, and you have to practice only this. Like as a as a Prabhupada said, na, like if you practice Krishna consciousness, everything is taken care. So like if you read that 15 pages, then every rest of book will be taken care. So Vyasdev give all the Vedas, but because they are Vyasdev are written for Tamasic people, Rasic people, and for Satoguna people, and then for Srimad Bhagavatam is for devotees like who are a Gunatit. But we are not Gunatit, but like we then also go through the process, because our Srila Prabhupada has and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended. It was a spotless, because Vyasdev write this book in his maturity, after finishing all the Vedas, like when he feel okay, I am not having satisfaction. So like when Narad Muni instructed them, even Vasdeva has his spiritual master. So when you feel like unsatisfied, or if you are having like problems in your life, you have to consult the senior devotees or your spiritual master. So like because they know everything and they have the solution for everything and they will help you. So yes, Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana because it will teach you the highest goal of human life is to develop the unalloyed love for Krishna. Unalloyed means that it should not mix with anything. It should not be mixed with the mental speculation. It should not be mixed with the fruitive desire or material desires. Okay, if I love Krishna, I will get free from the miseries, or if I love Krishna, I will my material desires will be fulfilled, or this kind of things means like we are our love is not unalloyed. And yes, Lord Kapila, who is the original pro-founder of a Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya philosophy means like they tell us like we have to meditate upon Lord's form, and meditate upon something void or impersonal. And how can you meditate upon on light? If you keep watching the light, your eyes will be strained. But instead of watching light, if you watch the beautiful form of Radha and Krishna, then like you will feel the ecstasy, you will feel happy. Okay, yes, they are hearing my names, and we can meditate upon what kind of dress they're wearing, what kind of jewelry they are wearing, and then how with the dots how their faces and like how their hands are decorated. So like we can meditate on each and every feature, like even when we are taking darshan of deities, like we have to see these minute details, and by seeing through our eyes, like we have to make the replica in our heart, so they will stay there. So, and even like one can meditate upon the transcendental form of Lord Vishnu even without practicing sitting in posture. Such meditation is called a perfect samadhi. Devotees are, or like pure devotees are always in samadhi, because what is a meditation? You have to meditate upon something like impersonal, or like higher form is we have to meditate upon the Vishnu. Like, but like when devotees are even cooking, or they're doing office work, or whatever work they are doing, even in a bath they chant the holy name, so they directly associate with the Krishna. And like samadhi means we have to sit and we have to think about the Krishna, we have to feel that nectar. But devotees already doing that. Now when they are working, they are thinking, okay, in the Damodari Yashoda Maya tie the Krishna in this way, and like what are the takeouts point. Even we are reading books, we are associating with the Krishna. So, and what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, and all of the yogis, he who always abides me in the great faith, worship me in a transcendental loving service, is the most intimately united with me in a yoga, and is highest of all. So yes, we are doing a work, but we constantly remember Krishna, and we should worship the Krishna in a transcendental loving service. Like it should not be mechanically. Okay, I'm a Arti because someone told me to offer Arti. Like I'm following four regulative principles just to in a sake of following regulative principles. I'm attending Mangalarti, but just to attend Mangalarti. Like there is no love or not that feeling. Okay, if you are not having that feeling, then you have to cry for this feeling, like, oh Krishna, I'm just mechanically chanting, but I don't have any feelings, please help me. Please help me to gain that feeling, please help me to please purify me, so that when I become purified, I can start having this feeling. So like we should have a great faith. It should not be just a faith, it should be we should have a great faith, and like we should worship a Krishna in a transcendental loving service, not a mechanical service. And yes, like when we do this, then like this is the highest form of a yoga. And Lord Chaitanya also instructed and also give the philosophy, which is a achintya bheda bhed tattva. Means like yes, we are similar to Krishna, but at the same time we are different from Krishna. How we are similar to Krishna? Krishna is a vibhu. He's he's the greatest, and we are like anu. We are very tiny, and like Krishna is unlimited. We are limited. Like Krishna, we have the same qualities, but in a small form. Okay, we are also eternal. We are simply changing our bodies, but our soul is also eternal. But by changing bodies, eternity disturb us. And but Krishna is eternal, like he descends from his the spiritual world. He do not take a birth and he do not die. Like so he's a supreme eternal, and we are like a very minute eternal. And like like Krishna is a supreme, like a blissful, and like we are as a soul also we are a blissful, but in a small amount. But when we associate with the Krishna, we can get the highest form of we can also become a blissful. And like we can knowledge, okay, Krishna, we can have a little knowledge, okay, and we also try to get knowledge, we also try to get happiness or blissfulness. But like even if you study, like we are trying to get the knowledge, we have little knowledge. But Krishna, who has created universes, and so he have a lot of knowledge. So Krishna's knowledge is very vast, and our knowledge is very tiny. So yes, we also possess the same qualities uh, like eternity, blissfulness, and knowledge. Like Sachidananda Vigraha. Krishna is a Sachidananda Vigraha. We are also like a Sachidananda Vigraha, but in a small amount, because we are a part and parcel of Krishna. We are the minute sparks. So like we have the uh, qualities of Krishna, but in a small amount, in limited. But Krishna is unlimited. It's like we are like a drop of water, like a single molecule of water in a ocean, and Krishna is like an entire ocean. And like we can also give it another analogy, like we are the photon, like a single spark of a sun, and Krishna is the entire sun. The spark and the drop of water have the same qualities as ocean, but like amount, like a drop of water is so tiny and ocean is so vast. And and how we have to associate with the Krishna by chanting his name, by hearing his glories. So, like when someone practices what Prabhupada is saying, when one practices the sound vibration, he passes to the three stages of a development. What are the three stages? First is the offensive stage, like when we are doing aparadas, like when we are not when we are like there are 10 offenses to holy name, na? So uh, like uh, we are chanting the holy name, but we are also committing the offenses. And second is a clearing stage. What will happen in a clearing stage, and what will in a offensive stage, we have all kind of desires for the material happiness, and we will try to make this dukhalayam, we will try hard to make this dukhalayam to sukhalayam, but it is a useless, it is just a illusion. So in an offensive stage, we have a lot of desires, because in a like there is a 10th offense to holy name la, like not giving up the material desires even after understanding so many like gaining so many knowledge about this, like because material desires are useless, it is an illusion, and like if you desire material things, you will again fall in a cycle of birth and death. So second stage is a clearing stage, where we become one become to clear all the material contamination, whatever material desires we have. It start converting to become a spiritual, or like a material desires changes to the spiritual desires. And like we start reducing this material desires. Okay, whatever if I desire this, then I will simply fall into this cycle of birth and death. Then why should I uh, desire for the material things? We become little advanced. Then what is the highest stage? That is a transcendental stage. Then when we start developing love for Krishna, and when we develop the love for Krishna, so this is the highest stage. And like we can see now, like if when we are chanting and we still have the material desires, means we are at an offensive stage. Like we have to check, we have to take care of these offenses. Like it's 10 offense this 10 offenses to holy name, like we don't have to follow when we are chanting for 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours. Like we have to follow this 10 offense all 24 by 7. It's not like that we are we don't have we have to follow the 10 offenses only when we are doing japa. Like that time, like we can break 2 3 principles, and we can commit 2 3 offenses, but entire day we can commit we directly or indirectly we are committing all 10 offenses to holy name. So we have to take care. And someone as a clearing stage, so they have to practice more. Even if someone as an offensive stage, we have to practice more, because when we associate with Krishna, we start getting start becoming purified. And when you are at offensive stage and clearing stage, we constantly have to pray, like, because when we are also putting efforts, and at the same time we are praying for acharyas and praying for Radharani and Krishna, so they will help us. But when you are not putting efforts and when you are simply asking for mercy, then it will not going to come. So there is no difference between Krishna and his name. Hare Krishna. Sarita Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Lord Chaitanya instructed the mass of people in the Sankhya philosophy of Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva, which maintains that the Supreme Lord is simultaneously one and different from his creation. Lord Chaitanya taught this philosophy through the chanting.
Sorry, Mataji, you have to continue with the yoga.
Okay.
Essentially,
Yoga practice. Okay. Yoga practice is essentially meant for controlling the senses. The central controlling factor of all the senses is mind. Therefore, one first has to practice controlling the mind by engaging it in Krishna consciousness. The gross activities of the mind are expressed through external senses, either for acquiring or of knowledge, or the functioning of the senses in accordance to the will. The subtle activities of the mind are thinking, feeling, and willing. In accordance to one's consciousness, the individual is either polluted or clear. If one's mind is fixed on Krishna, his name, quality, form, pastime, entourage, and paraphernalia, all one's activities, both subtle and gross, become favorable. The Bhagavad Gita's process of purifying consciousness is the process of fixing one's mind on Krishna by talking of his transcendental activities, cleansing his temple, going to his temple, seeing the beautiful transcendental form of the Lord, nicely decorated, hearing his transcendental glories, tasting food offered to him, associating with his devotees, smelling the flowers and tulsi leaves offered him, engaging in activities for the Lord's interest, etc. No one can bring the activities of the mind and senses to a stop, but one can purify these activities through a change in consciousness. This change is indicated in Bhagavad Gita when Krishna tells Arjuna of the knowledge of yoga, whereby one can work without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act by such intelligence, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. Bhagavad Gita 2.39. A human being is sometimes restricted in sense gratification due to certain circumstances such as uh, etc. But this is not prescription. Without knowing the actual process by which the mind and senses can be controlled, less intelligent men either try to stop the mind and senses by force, or they give in to them and are carried away by the waves of sense gratification. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. So, like, here we can see now, like, yes, we have to practice. When we have to practice yoga, we have to control our senses. Okay, we want to be a samadhi on Krishna. Like, we are simply sitting, and inside our heart, all the leelas of Krishna's will go on, like the pure devotees. But like, it is the highest form of yoga. And like, what is the essential uh, for practicing yoga is that we have to control our senses. And like, when we have to control our senses, like, who is the master of our senses? That is a mind. So we have to control our mind, because like everything comes come within the mind. Okay, I have to, like, okay, I have to eat this, I have to eat this. When we start contemplating on the same things, then your senses will try to find, okay, where I will get this item, and then you will start eating. So firstly, we have to control our mind. And how we have to control our mind? By, like, strengthening our intelligence. And how we have to strengthen our intelligence by chanting the holy names, and like especially hearing the Srimad Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam. When we hear from the devotees, and like when we hear the scriptures, then our like intelligence come to know, okay, these are the right things, these are not right things, or like these are good things, these are bad things, okay, these are the sanction, and these things are not a sanction. Like offer food is sanctioned and unoffer food is not sanctioned, or like we have to follow the four regulative principles, and and we don't have to engage ourselves in a sense gratification. So every time we have the choices, and on depend on how much our intelligence is strong, we choose the things, you have to eat the healthy food or you have to eat the junk food. So like if your mind is a strong, and when your intelligence is strong, then he will tell the mind, if you eat the junk food you will suffer later, but if you choose to eat the healthy food, then it will be good for your body, and in a long run you will be very healthy. So like we have to strong our intelligence by reading the scriptures. So yes, it is very important to control our senses. Even in a nectar of instruction, there is a slokana vacho vegam, jiva vegam, udara upasta vegam, itan vegan. So like we have to control the senses. This is the starting of the spirituality, and we have to and we also learn in our book reading sessions now. Prabhupada is guiding us. Like when you have to control your senses, what is the best way? Like keeping them away from the sense objects, or like engaging them in Krishna service. Okay, I have to control my senses, so I'm not going to eat anything. But like at the same time, okay, you have to give up the bad things to eat, but at the same time you can have the good food. We can have, like if you are you can also prepare the chappan bhogas, and like if you offer to Krishna, then you can enjoy the same things as a prasadam. So we have the choice. We simply have to take out the senses from the sense gratificatory things, and like we have to engage in Krishna's service. And when we engage our senses in Krishna's service, then our senses become purified, and we can become a qualified instrument to serve our Lord. So we like if one's mind is a fix on a Krishna's, his name, quality, form, pastimes, and paraphernalia, then his activities, both a subtle and gross, become a favorable. So uh, through the minds, we have to think, okay, what are the takeouts point from the class, or we can in mind we can, instead of thinking for a sense gratification or material things, we can think about, okay, like in Krishna book, this is the first chapter, this is the second chapter, okay, this is the Damodar month is going on. So like what happened in a Damodar Leela, why Yashoda Maya was not able to bind the Krishna, and what happened that after that Yashoda Maya is able to bind the Krishna. And like how we have to engage our senses, we can from the eyes we can see the decorated form of a Krishna, like we can take the darshan of a deities, and from the ears we can hear the transcendental glories of Krishna. By tongue we can taste the food which is offered to Krishna, and with the bodies we can associate with the devotees, and if you are not having devotees at nearby you, you can associate with the books, because when we associate with the books, when it is a Bhagavad Gita, you are associating with the Srila Prabhupada, you are associating with the Krishna, because Krishna is a absolute. He is also formed in a form of literature as a Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. So you can start reading Bhagavatam also. So you are directly associating with Krishna. When you are reading a Bhagavad Gita, it means like you are hearing the song of Krishna. So you are directly associating with Krishna. When you are reading Srila Prabhupada books, you are associating with the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. So you cannot give the excuses. Okay, I don't have the devotee association. How can I practice the spirituality? When you go on YouTube, there are like thousands and like even lakhs of lectures given by devotees. But it's in our how we have to use our time. So yes, today we can end here, but there is one last now. Without knowing the actual process by which mind and senses can be controlled, less intelligent men try to stop the mind and senses by force, or they give in them and are carried away by the waves of a sense gratification. Okay, there are some urges of the sense gratification, but we have to actively engage our senses in Krishna's service. But when we engage in sense gratificatory things, then we become we get carried out. But at the same time, when we engage them in Krishna's service, okay, like we have the choices now. We can eat the prasadam or we can eat the unoffered food. So like when we take the prasadam, then when our tummy is full, then like what is the need to eat an unoffered food? So Hare Krishna, from today's book reading session, we can stop here. From tomorrow we will start. So Mukund Mala Stotra. Hare Krishna, who wants to read? Please raise your hand like a new candidate should read, not new devotees should read. Vinod Prabhu, you can do, or Sharmila Mataji, you can read. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The words bhave bhave are very significant here. They mean birth after birth. Unlike the Gyanis who aspire to merge with the impersonal absolute and thereby stop the process of repeatedly taking birth, a pure devotee is never afraid of this process. In the Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Lord Krishna says that his birth and deeds are all divyam, transcendental. In the same chapter 4.5, the Lord says that both he and Arjuna had many previous births, but that while the sorry, but that while the Lord could remember all of them, Arjuna could not. For the Lord, there is no difference between past, present, and future. But for the living being, who has forgotten the Lord, there is a difference. On account of his being forgetful of the past and ignorant of the future, but a living entity who always remembers the Lord and is thus his constant companion, is as transcendentally situated as the Lord himself. For such a devotee, birth and death are one and the same, because he knows that such occurrences are only ephemeral flashes that do not affect his spiritual existence. We may use a crude example to illustrate the difference between a devotee's death and an ordinary man's death. In her mouth, the cat captures both her offspring and her prey, the rat. Such capturings may appear the same, but there is a vast difference between them. While the rat is being carried in the cat's mouth, his sensation is poles apart from that of the cat's offspring. For the rat, the capture is a painful death strike, while for the offspring, it is a pleasurable caress. Similarly, the death of an ordinary man is vastly different from a devotee's passing away from the active scene of material existence. The death of an ordinary man occurs against the background of his past good and evil deeds, which determine his next birth. But for a devotee, the case is different. Even if the devotee has failed to perfect his devotional service, he is guaranteed to take birth in a family of learned and devoted brahmanas, or a family of rich Vaishyas, merchants. A person who takes birth in such a family has a good chance to practice devotional service and improve his spiritual condition. Unfortunately, in this iron age, the members of well to do families generally misuse their wealth. Instead of improving their spiritual condition, they are misled by faulty association and fall victim to sensuality. To be saved from this faulty association, King Kulashekara prays fervently to the Lord that he may never forget his lotus feet in any future birth. A devotee who perfects his devotional service certainly goes back to Godhead without a doubt. So for him, there is no question of birth and death, or birth or death. And as mentioned above, a devotee who does not achieve complete perfection is guaranteed to take his birth in a learned and well-to-do family. But even if a devotee is not given the advantage of good parentage, if he can attain the benediction of always remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, that is greater than any number of material assets. Constant remembrance of the Lord's name, fame, qualities, and so on automatically nullifies the reactions of all vices and invokes the blessings of the Lord. This constant remembrance of the lotus feet of the Lord is possible only when one engages in his active service. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So here we can see now, like, and in this life, what devotee do? Devotee try to serve Krishna. Devotee try to please Krishna. He engage in transcendental loving service of Krishna. And after, like, when he get the next body, then what he is doing? He is remembering Krishna. He is doing the same activities. So, like, what is difference between this life and next life? But for the like karmis, it is very difficult. This life they can be this can be human, and next life they can become a cat, dog, according to their material desires. So devotee like doesn't care where he's staying and where, like, his only concern is he's remembering Krishna or not, he is engaging in Krishna's service or not. Like, when like what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he is a kala, he is a time factor who will take everything. So, like, if you are not engaging in Krishna's your wealth or whatever assets you have in Krishna's service, then at the time of death Krishna is going to take everything from you, no? So it's better now whatever you have, you engage in a Krishna service. And for the karmis, like, it's like a cat is carrying prey. Like, when he is carrying the rat inside her mouth, she is going to kill the cat and like eat the rat. But like when cat is carrying his own like, kittens, then like he carry them with a love. Like, we externally we can see the same thing, like, okay, she's trying to kill, but like intention is different. So similarly, when a devotee is like, so when there is a death for the devotees, it's actually not a death, because after death also they are going to practice and they are going to remember Krishna. And like when you practice the devotional service and you uh, fail to go back to the godhead within this life, then next life you can born in a family of a brahmana or in a vaishnava from the childhood, even from the birth, like when you are in a like in mother's womb, like from the garbhadana sanskar, from there your spirituality will start, and like it will start from where you have ended in this life. And like, so you can practice the spirituality or you can practice the Krishna consciousness from the beginning of your life. And like, if this not things like, and there is another chance, like if you can born in the aristocratic families and like a big family of vaishyas and merchants, like businessmen, where you will have a lot of wealth, which can the and then we will have a minute independence there, like we can engage the wealth in a Krishna service, then our life will be successful. But when we engage our wealth in Krishna, in our sense gratificatory things, then then there will be fall down, because all the material desires will start, we will start having the material desires, we again fall in a cycle of birth and death. So, like, we have the independence, but we misuse our independence. Okay, but when we don't misuse our independence and we follow the instruction of Krishna, then like Krishna will give you us protection. Krishna will take care of everything. But when we have the independence and when we misuse the independence, then we have to suffer for our reactions. So, and yes, there is a chance when you have a lot of wealth, you have the chance to do the more sense gratificatory things. And when you have a power, you can do the sense gratificatory things and no one will be opposed you. But this is not good. Like, you don't have to fall victim for the sensuality. So like, even if you don't have the wealth, but like you have the what Prabhupada is saying, that even if you are not wealthy, but Krishna has blessed you and Krishna has given the benediction, you are always remembering Krishna, then it is much more greater than having like a lot of material assets and comforts in your life. So if you are remembering Krishna, that is the big thing. Like, so you don't have to work for too much work for the material assets. But yes, if you are getting material assets, so we use the formula of a Yukta Vairagya. We engage everything in Krishna's service, because everything belongs to Krishna. Krishna is the supreme owner and controller. So we simply use this. We have the independence, like Krishna has given us something, we have to engage in Krishna's service, so Krishna will give you more. But if you don't use in if you misuse your independence, you use in a sense gratificatory things, then there is a degradation. You will fall down to the like darkest region of a material world. You may fall in a cycle of birth and death, and in next life you may get the animal body also, where you cannot practice the spirituality. You again fall in a cycle of birth and death, which is a cycle of a suffering. So Hare Krishna, the last paragraph. Ritvika Mataji, you can read.
A pure devotee, Hare Krishna Mataji. A pure devotee therefore never asks the Lord for wealth, followers, or even a beautiful wife. He simply prays for uninterrupted engagement in the Lord's service. That should be the motto of life for all prospective students in devotional service. Hare Krishna
Uh,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So, pure devotee therefore never asks the Lord for a wealth, followers, even for a beautiful wife, like na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, na jagadisha kame. So, like they ask what they ask what they ask Krishna, they ask the uninterrupted engagement in a Krishna service. So here is also one line, how we can constantly remember Krishna. We can constantly remember Krishna by engaging ourselves actively in Krishna's service. Actively in Krishna's service. Services are many. Services to holy name is a chanting. Services to the Krishna in a book form or in a scripture form is like by reading Bhagavad Gita or by reading Bhagavatam. It is also service. Like we can engage. Our temple is providing some online seva. If you are engaged in online seva, it is also service. Like if you are there is a temple nearby you and you are going and we are making gardens for the deities and you are cooking and you are washing your pots for deities, then it is also seva. And like even if you are not having a temple nearby you or you are not having the skills to do online sevas, then at your home you can cook for Krishna. And like from the mind, how can we serve Krishna? By remembering Krishna's pastimes. So these are the many ways that like we constantly have to engage our senses in Krishna's service. Then our senses will be senses like senses will be engaged in Krishna's service. Senses will be purified, and we can also remember Krishna all the times. So like there is one quote now, fake it until you make it. So if you want to become healthy, you simply have to fake the habits of a healthy person, getting up, doing the exercise, like eating healthy food, staying hydrated, and practicing some pranayama and all these things. So you simply have to fake it, like you have to fake it for the like for 6 months or for 1 year. After 1 year you become a healthy person. So similarly, when you want to become a pure devotee, you simply have to fake the what pure devotees are doing. So like when you go to Krishna, you don't ask for the material things like give me wealth, followers, or beautiful wife, and like give me job and all these things. But we have to fake we have to fake now, like okay, these material things are not good. Okay, Krishna, please engage me in your uninterrupted or unalloyed loving devotional service. So like at there will be one stage, at least you are asking Krishna, like you are, inside, okay, I'm faking but I really want these things. But like you are then also you are trying to control your the urges, and like you are saying to Krishna, like please give me unalloyed loving devotional service to you. That like that point will become like by simply saying this prayer, there will be one point that like you like your all material desires will be gone, and like you will start getting this loving service. So, like this is the motto of the prospective students in a devotional life. So, like if you want to become a prospective student in a devotional life, then we have to follow the motto, na? Hare Krishna. Who wants to
Hare Krishna
read?
Mataji.
Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Yes, Karuna
Mataji.
Mataji. Yes.
नाहं वन्दे तव चरणयोर्द्वन्द्वम् अद्वन्द्वं हेतो कुम्भीपाकं गुरुम् अपि हरे नारकं नापनेतुम् रम्या रामा मृदुतनुलता नन्दनेनापि रन्तुम् भावे भावे हृदय भवने भावयेयं भवन्तम्. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Translation.
Krishna.
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji, you can continue.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Lord Hari, it is not to be saved from the dualities of material existence or the grim tribulations of the Kumbhipaka hell that I pray to your lotus feet. Nor is my purpose to enjoy the soft-skinned beautiful women who reside in the gardens of heaven. I pray to your lotus feet only so that I may remember you alone in the core of my heart, birth after birth. Purport. There are two classes of men, the atheists and the theists. The atheists have no faith in the supreme personality of Godhead, while the theists have various degrees of faith in him. That the atheists are faithless on account of their many misdeeds in their present and past life. They fall into four categories: the gross materialists, immoral sinners, the number one fools, and those who are bewildered by Maya despite their mundane ordered, what to speak of offering prayers unto his lotus feet. The theists, on the other hand, have faith in the Lord and pray to him with various motives. One attains such a theistic life not by chance but as a result of performing many pious acts in both the present and the past life. Such pious men also belong to four categories, namely the needy, those who have fallen into difficulty, those who are inquisitive about the transcendental science, and the genuine philosophers. The philosophers and those who are inquisitive are better than those in categories 1 and 2. But a pure devotee is far above these four classes of pious men, for he is in the transcendental position. The needy pious man prays to God for a better standard of life, and the pious man who has fallen into material difficulty prays in order to get rid of his trouble. But the inquisitive man and the philosopher do not pray God for amelioration of mundane problems. They pray for the ability to know him as he is, and they reach to him through science and logic. Such pious men are generally known as theosophists. Needy pious men pray to God to improve their economic condition because all they know is sense gratification, while those in difficulty ask him to free them from a hellish life of tribulations. Such ignorant people do not know the value of human life. This life is meant to prepare one to return to the absolute world, the kingdom of God. A pure devotee is neither a needy man, a man fallen into difficulty, nor an empiric philosopher who tries to approach the divinity on the strength of his own imperfect knowledge. A pure devotee receives knowledge of the divinity from the right source, the disciplic succession of realized souls who have followed strictly the disciplinary method of devotional service under the guidance of bona fide spiritual masters. It is not possible to know the transcendental nature of the divinity by dint of one's imperfect sense perception. But the divinity reveals himself to a pure devotee in proportion to the transcendental service rendered unto him. King Kulashekara is a pure devotee. As such, he is not eager to improve himself by the standards of empiric philosophers, distressed men, or fruitive workers of this world. Pious acts may lead a mundane creature towards the path of spiritual realization, but practical activity in the domain of devotional service to the Lord need not wait for the reactions of pious acts. A pure devotee does not think in terms of his personal gain or loss because he is fully surrendered to the Lord. He is concerned only with the service of the Lord and always engages in that service, and for this reason, his heart is the Lord's home. The Lord being absolute, there is no difference between him and his service. A pure devotee's heart is always filled with ideas about executing the Lord's service, which is bestowed upon the pure devotee through the the in the authoritative line of disciplic succession is the Son of God, or in other words, the Lord's bona fide representative. The proof that he is bona fide is his invincible faith in God. Cannot be bona fide spiritual master. For such a spiritual master's only purpose in life must be to render service to the Lord. He preaches the message of Godhead as the Lord's appointed agent and has nothing to do with sense gratification or the mundane wrangling of the impersonalists. No one can render devotional service to an impersonal entity because such service implies a reciprocal personal relationship between the servant and the master. In the impersonal school, The so-called devotee is supposed to merge with the Lord and lose his separate existence. Pure devotees like King Kulashekara are particularly careful to avoid a process that will end in their becoming one with existence of the Lord, a state as known as Advandva or non-duality. This is simply spiritual suicide. Out of 5 kinds of salvation, Advandva is the most abominable for a devotee. A pure devotee denounces such oneness with the Lord as worse than going to hell. Mataji, shall I continue? Hare Krishna Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. As his separated expansions, the living beings are part and parcel of the Lord. The Lord expands himself into plenary parts and separated parts to enjoy transcendental pastimes. And if a living being refuses to engage in these transcendental blissful pastimes, he is at liberty to merge into the absolute. This is something like a son's committing suicide instead of living with his father according to the rules the father sets down. By committing suicide, the son thus sacrifices the happiness he could have enjoyed by engaging in a filial loving relationship with his father and enjoying his father's estate. A pure devotee persistently avoids such criminal policy, and King Kulashekara is guiding us to avoid this pitfall. The king also says that the reason he is praying to the Lord is not to be saved from the Kumbhipaka hell. Laborers in gigantic iron and steel mills suffer tribulations similar to those in the Kumbhipaka hell. Kumbhi means pot and Paka means boiling. So, if a person were put into a pot of oil and the pot were set to boiling, he would have some idea of suffering in the Kumbhipaka hell. There are innumerable hellish engagements in the modern so called civilization, and by the grace of Lord's illusory energy, people think these hellish engagements are a great fortune. Modern industrial factories fully equipped with up to date machines are so many Kumbhipaka hells, and the organizers of these enterprises regard them as indispensable for the advancement of economic welfare. The mass of laborers exploited by the organizers directly experience the welfare conditions in these factories. But what the organizers do not know is that by the Lord of Karma, they will in due time become laborers in similar Kumbhipaka hells. Intelligent persons certainly want to be saved from such Kumbhipaka hells, and they pray to God for this benediction. But a pure devotee does not pray in this way. A pure devotee of Narayana looks equally upon the happiness enjoyed in heaven, the transcendental bliss of becoming one with Lord, and the tribulations. Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So, like what we learned from today's session from Mukundmala Stotra, that what we have to ask to Krishna, we don't have to ask the material things to Krishna, or like which we don't have to ask na Krishna like, oh please Krishna, I have this much troubles, and can you please free me from this troubles, or we cannot ask Krishna to even Kulshekara is not asking to free him from the hellish conditions, and so what pure devotees ask Krishna is like they ask the unalloyed, pure devotional service to the lotus feet of Krishna. So, like, we have to pray in this way. When we pray in this way to Krishna, then Krishna will reciprocate with us. But first, we should have the desire. We should act according to our desire. Then Krishna will reciprocate. But and we have to also persist. We have to be a consistent. It's not like that we are doing for one day and next days we are forgetting about it. So I have some prayers. I will recite for you, and like you can follow the similar prayers, and you can also consist your prayers, and which can you offer to the deities, and which can you offer to the Krishna. So like Bilva Mangala Thakura, the same Bilva Mangala Thakur, like who like who crossed the river on the dead body to just to meet in a heavy rain, just to meet the prostitute. And like when prostitute said that whatever love you are showing me, instead if you showed love to Krishna, then Krishna will be very pleased and like you become pure devotee. So that same Bilva Mangala Thakura is praying like in a Krishna Karnamrita that, oh Krishna, wherever my mind goes, please, I beg you, please be there for me. So we have to pray like in entire day. When we stay in a prayerful mode, then at a one time will come when we become purified and Krishna will listen to our prayers. And like there is also prayers from the Bhakti Vinoda Thakura that says, Lord Krishna, I don't have any strength to chant the holy name. I don't have a strength to control my mind. I don't have a strength to control my senses. I don't have a strength to do anything. Therefore, I'm begging you, please become my senses, become my mind, become my intelligence, become my director. So we can follow, we can recite their prayers also, or we can consist our own prayers also. And like there is another prayer that, my dear Krishna, free will is my problem. I don't know how to manage my free will. Therefore, I begging you, please take my free will, manage it for me. So this prayer we can do it now, because we have the free will to choose between Krishna and material things. But we most of the time we choose the material things over the spiritual things or over the Krishna. So yes, this is our real problem. So we have to tell Krishna, Krishna, whatever free will I have, because of that free will, I'm misusing it and I'm suffering in this material world. Please take that free will and manage it for me. And like when Krishna will manage, then Krishna will manage it everything perfectly, because he is the only perfect. So we can pray this. This is one of my favorite prayer that, my dear Krishna, free will is my problem. I don't know how to manage my free will. Therefore, I'm begging you, please take my free will and manage it for me. Yes, like like even Bhakti Vinod Tagore is like a setting an example for us, na? And he's showing through the prayers that like we don't have a capability to do anything, to chant the holy name, to control our mind, to control our senses, or to do anything. Even like when we are speaking, when we are hearing, we don't have capacity. The capacity is given by Krishna. So like we have to pray to Krishna. So what Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying, therefore I am begging you, please become my senses, become my mind, become my intelligence, become my director. So like okay, it is very hard to control our mind. So what we are saying, like Krishna, you become my mind, so that like when Krishna become mind, like whatever things going in mind, it related to Krishna only. So we have to pray in this way. And like what Bilva Mangala Thakur is a praying, oh Krishna, wherever my mind goes, please, I beg you, please there for me. Like wherever my mind is going, when there is Krishna, then like what we are doing, we are remembering Krishna constantly. So these things we have to do. So today we can end the session here. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय.
जय
श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय.
जय
हरे कृष्णा.
हरे
Mataji and
कृष्णा
Prabhuji,
माता जी
today is our like 45 or 46 day na, like
Hare
after
Krishna.
4-5 days, like we will cover the 50 days. So we can imagine the power of association. And we finished the 4 book, and like this is the 5th and 6th book whatever we are reading, the Mukunmala Stotra, and like uh, teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So we can see now, like we keep in association. So like we read every day we read for like 30 minutes, and like when there is no association, the books are simply kept in our house, and like we haven't read the books. But this is the power of association. There are some constant devotees like Gunashri Mataji, like Muthyu Prabhu, like Vinodhar Prabhu, Vanshidhar Prabhu, Sharmila Mataji, Sarita Mataji, Ritvika Mataji, and we have that 15 to 20, even 25 devotees every day who are coming and reading the books and like gaining the knowledge. So like this is the thing. Okay, you don't have the test to read the books. Simply get into the association. Then with the association, we will develop the test. So yes, like you are not in association, you can't even imagine to read the 4 or 5 books. But we completed the 4 or 5 books within the 1 month period, or within 50 days. So this is the power of association. Like if you say that like, okay, let me not read let me not join the today's session, then your day will be wasted, and you are not going to sit there and like read the books. So if it is possible for you, so please don't miss the classes. And this is our special class, but devotees can stay for the 7 till the 7 o'clock, and after that they can leave, and the interested candidates can stay here, because we are reading the Mukund Mala Stotra, na? Like each and every word is so nectarian, and like if we have to follow the each and every word, like if you start giving the explanation for each line, it will take the hours. So like we will simply go through the reading, because they are so nectarian. Like even if we read, we will get a lot of pious activities, and we will have that desire. Okay, I also want the loving devotional service. Okay, I should ask the spiritual things. I should ask, oh Krishna, let me always remember you. Please give me your unalloyed loving devotional service. We won't ask for the material things, because we can see material things uh, will be nullified at the time of death. So Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Happy Krishna Conscious Day.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, I'm
Thank you,
sorry,
Mataji. Hare
I
Krishna.
didn't know actually. I just continued reading. I'm so sorry, Mataji.
No, Mataji. Like actually, I have network connection, and I thought I'm not audible, or screen is not visible.
No, actually, for some time you didn't respond, Mataji, but I was reading from the book, so I didn't know
Very good.
when the scrolling stopped. I didn't know, Mataji.
No
I'm so
issues,
sorry.
no issues, Mataji.
Hare
Like it
Krishna
was good.
Mataji.
Like you are reading for books.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Mataji, may I request you to please post the link of these prayers which you said, Bilba Munday Thakur, and one more you said.
Actually,
Can-
Mataji, I maintained a diary from where I just read. I'm having a diary. So
Oh,
whatever I hear in Bhagavatam classes and other classes, I write in my diary. So I can share the photo of my diary, that page.
yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Father
Krishna
Pranam.
Happy
Mataji.
Krishna